Let's talk about clarity on business and financial goals. And I specifically want us to look at two objectives. Number one, clarity on business goals. And number two, clarity on financial goals. I'm going to share with you a profound mystery on financial goals at the tail end of this presentation, something that will fundamentally change your life, your finances, and your future. So please stay with me to the very end. This is a very brief presentation. I want us to learn how to clarify our business goals and our financial goals. So let's start with clarity on business goals. Let me ask you, why is it important to have clarity on business goals? Just think this. Imagine if you were to attend a game of soccer with two great teams, but they are not supposed to score goals. They're supposed to play to engage each other, but the ground rule, don't score a goal. How boring would that game be? You know, what makes it exciting is the idea that there is a goal to be scored. And I want us to think about setting business goals the same way you think about jogging. If you go out there in the woods or in the park and you want to jog, why is it important to set a target? Let's say you want to jog for 2 miles. When you do that, number one, you stay focused. You avoid distractions. You are not distracted by what other people are doing in the park. Number two, you monitor progress. How much have I jogged? How much am I yet to cover? And number three, you clarify your strategy. Do I increase speed? Do I reduce speed? Do I maintain speed? How do I run? And maybe next week, I need to stretch my goal further to 3 miles and then 4 miles. Similarly, when we have to clarify our business goals, because when we have clarity on business goals, number one, that helps us to be focused. Number two, we monitor business progress. And number three, we clarify our business strategies. Let me ask you, what are your top 3 business goals? I know if you are running a business, you have goals. What are your top 3 business goals? Tell me. Let me just list some of the business goals that people have. Number 1, profitability. 2, marketing. 3, growth. 4, customer relations. 5, employee welfare. 6, business processes. 7, business innovation. 8, business sustainability. 9, corporate social responsibilities. Of course, the very first reason why people start business is to make a profit. But many people don't clarify that goal. And so it becomes elusive. And sometimes they don't even hit it because you can't hit a target that you don't have in the first place. I challenge you right now. It's only a business goal if you can set, track, and achieve it. If you can't set it, it's not a business goal. If you can't track it, you can't monitor and evaluate your progress. It's a wish. And when you're not monitoring progress, you're probably rewarding failure or underperformance or non-performance. And number 3, if it's not achievable, it's not a goal. So a business goal is a goal if it passes this test. It can be set, tracked, and achieved. So let me use 3 examples. Just 3 examples of goals. We see how to clarify our goals. Let's assume your first business goal is to make profits. So goal number 1, profitability. There are many models to clarify our goal. I'm going to use a model where we have to clarify our strategy, the result, and the indicator. Strategy simply means, how will I make my business profitable? How will I do it? And I'm asking you right now, what do you need to do to make your business profitable? That's the question I'm asking. If you can answer that question, then you're clarifying your business strategy. And there could be many ways to make your business profitable. Let me highlight 3. 1, you can increase your sales. 2, you can do cost reduction, reduce your cost of running business, your expenses. 3, price increase. Now, that's debatable, but I'm assuming holding all other things constant, because sometimes when you increase price, customers go to competition. They leave you and shop around for cheaper products or services. But let's assume your customers stay with you and your expenses are the same, holding everything else constant. Then, of course, if you raise the price, your profits will go up. The next question to ask yourself, how do I know I have achieved these things? What are the results? What are the results? If I do this, what will happen to my business? If I increase sales, of course, the revenue will increase. If I reduce cost, what will be the result? Higher cash flow. If I increase the price, holding all other things constant, then the revenue will increase. Now, what's the indicator? What's the measure? How really can I tell that my revenue has gone up? Then I have a higher gross profit. If I reduce the cost, if I reduce the expenses, I'll have a higher net profit. If I increase the price and the customers are still with me and the cost of doing business has not increased, then my gross profit will go high. So basically what we are saying, the measure of profitability is either gross profit or net profit. What are we trying to do? We are trying to clarify this business goal, profitability. Now, when you say your business goal is profitability, that's a big one. But if you can identify the strategy to achieve it, the result of doing it, and the measure, the indicator, then you are clarifying your goal. Your goal is no longer ambiguous. It is specific. It is measurable. It is achievable. It's attainable. It's a smart goal. Let me give you another example. Let's assume you have a business goal of marketing. The question is, what are you going to do to market? What are you going to do in marketing? The answer to that question is your marketing strategy. And there could be many, many things you can do in marketing. Let me highlight 3. Number 1, branding. Branding is a marketing strategy. 2, promotions. You can promote in a store, in a supermarket. You can promote through billboards, social media, digital marketing. You can promote through wall branding, flyers, website. You can promote by having people in the streets just distributing your flyers, or even door to door. You knock houses and introduce your services or your product. These are all ways of promoting your business, making yourself known and visible. Another strategy is marketing channels. You can diversify your marketing channels or increase them. For example, you can explore more on digital marketing channels. So these are all strategies for marketing. What will be the result of branding, promotions, and increasing marketing channels? The results, sales increase, new customers if you continue promoting your business. And if you enhance your business channels, you're going to have new channels. What is the measure? What is the indicator that our sales have increased? Sales volume, that's measurable. It's not an indicator if it's not a metric for measurement. An indicator is a metric for measurement, for quantifying that this result was literally achieved. How do I know I have new customers? Of course, number of new customers. If the last quarter I had 10 customers and now I have 15 customers, so I have 5 new customers, that's an indicator that my customer base is growing. What about new channels? One indicator is number of new channels, but the ultimate indicator is the market share. If I'm able to enhance, to broaden, to increase my market share, that's another way of showing, verifying. This is a measure, a metric that my marketing channels are delivering results. What am I doing? I'm trying to clarify my marketing goal. It's one thing to say, one of the things we do in this business is marketing, because we know without marketing, you can't get new customers. It's very easy to say marketing is a heartbeat of our business, but you only qualify and quantify that goal if you can identify the strategies and then the results of those strategies, implement the result of implementing those strategies, and then the indicator, the measure, the metric of measuring those results. Let me give another example. Goal number 3, growth. Now, if you talk to an entrepreneur, any businesswoman, any businessman, any business person, and ask them what is their business goal, one thing they will all tell you is growth. Actually, if business growth is not your objective, you should close down your shops. You don't have any business running a business if growth is not in your interest. So a lot of people know they want their business to grow, but very few people can tell you what growth means. What does growth look like? How can I tell whether my business has grown? So let's clarify that goal. How do we do this? First of all, how do I grow my business? What do I do to grow my business? The response to that question is my growth strategy. Let me highlight 3 of them. Growth in sales, growth in stocks, growth in stores or outlets or branches or channels. These are 3 strategies for growing my business. If my sales can grow, then I have grown in business. If my stocks can grow, then I have grown in business. If I can have more stores, more outlets, more branches, more channels, then I have grown in business. I'm not suggesting these 3 are the only growth strategies, but these 3 are some of the growth strategies. So what will happen? What will be the result of growth in sales? The result will be more revenue. What will be the result of growth in stocks? More sales. Growth in stores? More stores. What is the indicator, the measure, the metric that I have more revenue? The gross profit. The indicator for growth in stocks? The amount of revenue. Amount can be measured. If I have more stores, what is the indicator? Number of stores. Maybe I had 2 stores last year, and now I have 3 stores, 3 outlets or 10 outlets. So there is growth in the number of stores. What am I doing? I'm clarifying my growth goal. I'm saying I want my business to grow, but I want to clarify this goal. I don't want it to be a big one. Now, there are many other business goals that we didn't discuss. Customer satisfaction, employee welfare, business processes, business innovation, business sustainability, corporate social responsibilities, and so on and so forth. I want to invite you right now to identify the strategies, the results, and the indicators for these business goals. You can discuss this with your business partners, with 1 or 2 people, because these things are better clarified in a brainstorming session. That way, you are clarifying your business goals. This is a simple model, but it works. Clarify your strategy for every goal, the results for implementing those strategies, and what are the indicators of those results. If you can do that, then you have clarified your business goals. Now, what can be a stumbling block to achieving our business goals? What are the possible roadblocks between you and your business goals? Because anything worthwhile will be fought. Anything good will be attacked. All good is attacked. There will be roadblocks along the way, and if you don't identify the roadblocks, when you come across the roadblocks, your business is likely to stall. If you're driving a vehicle and you suddenly come across a roadblock, maybe you're going to have a wreck. Your vehicle may be wrecked by the roadblock. So there may be hundreds and hundreds of roadblocks along our way. Let me mention some 5 roadblocks that we can think in advance. And in your brainstorming session with your business partner or partners, identify as many roadblocks as possible, because to be forewarned is to be forearmed. When roadblocks surprise you, then it may be difficult to absorb the shock. So it's better to forethink. What are the possible roadblocks and what do I do when I come across them? Not if I may, but when you come across the stumbling blocks. So I have 5 of them highlighted for us. Lacking clarity, that's a serious roadblock. Lacking ambition, being overambitious, unexpected obstacles, and losing motivation. So the first roadblock people encounter is lacking clarity on your business goal. Goals become ambiguous. How do you deal with that? Specify your goals. Specify your business goals. And I've given you the formula. What does that mean? Identify the strategies, the results, and the indicators. If you can specify the goals, you can clarify the goal, then you eliminate ambiguity. Lacking ambition, what do you do with that? Set growth goals. Goals that stretch you out of your comfort zone. I have traveled many countries in Europe, in Asia, in Africa, in North America. And one of the things I found out, in many, many countries in Africa, most people do subsistence farming. Most people plant cereals or vegetables or fruits, quarter an acre of land or half an acre or an acre or two or three. And when people approach farming from a subsistence point of view, they never make money, they never grow. They're always struggling from head to mouth. And I'm suggesting right now, decide, look, I have to stretch my goals a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to lease 100 acres of land and plant wheat. With 100 acres, then you're in business. You're in business. Don't be comfortable with your 2-3 acres. Stretch yourself. Be a little bit ambitious. Set growth goals. But warning, don't be over ambitious. That's that mistake people make. For example, if you have been a subsistence farmer listening to me with 2 acres, and then you listen to me and you straight away go and look for 1,000 acres, that might be stretching beyond what you can bite. So make sure your goals are stepping stones. You may get out of that and just lease 20 acres. 2-3 years later, go for 100 acres, then 500, then 1,000, then go for 10,000. Go for a real plantation. Go for a real estate in farming. So have stepping stones. Don't skip steps. So be ambitious, but not over ambitious. Then there will be things that you cannot foresee. So manage for risks. So have a risk management plan so that when they happen, then you have a way out. If you're farming, for example, pests can attack your crop. Lack of rains can happen. Political influence, fires, wildfires. So think in advance about each of these things and think about possible solutions to these risks. The other issue that happens, I have seen a lot of people start business with morale. They're inspired. They start with a lot of enthusiasm. 2-3 years later, they are bored. They lose motivation. The easiest way and the surest way to maintain your motivation, add value to people. Trust me on this. I never ever make any presentation unless I am convinced I'm adding value to people. When I go to speak in companies, in corporate organizations, when I train for multinational companies, they pay me. Some of them pay me quite good. But I tell you from the bottom of my heart, it never crosses my mind what they are paying me. When I'm making the presentation, it never crosses my mind what I'm being paid. So my presentation has nothing to do with how much I'm being paid. So I don't deliver more to the guy who pays me more, and I deliver less to the guy who pays me less. As a matter of fact, you're watching this video for free. You're not paying for it. Why? Because at my heart of hearts, the very bottom of my heart, I want to make a difference in the lives of people. I want to add value to people. I want to help people. If, for example, you are a car dealer listening to me, you import second-hand vehicles from Japan or from Germany to your country. If you import a car and a week later, your customer has to go and do a whole engine makeover, change an engine because that engine didn't even work in the first place, or the transmission, they have to fix the gearbox. Let me tell you this, you won't go far in that business. But if you import a second-hand car, a used car, and you ensure that proper inspections were done at the country of origin, and that the person who, your customer, your user, is able to enjoy that car for 2, 3, 4 years without any major repairs, any major maintenance or breakdown. As they drive to church as a family, as they drive for holiday as a family, as that person drives to work, they are blessing you. And they refer other customers to you. And then they come back to you as a repeat customer. So if you add genuine value to people, you will never lack motivation, because their phone calls, when they tell you how much you helped me to get a nice car, to get a nice house, to get a nice outfit. If you're selling a boutique and as they wear that pair of shoe or the outfit, they're feeling proud about themselves. It boosts their self-confidence and their self-esteem. They feel great. I tell you this, if you bake a cake and they feel so good in their birthday party, their anniversary, their wedding, they are blessing you. You are inspired because you have been part of the story in that wedding. You're part of the story in that anniversary or in that birthday party. If you add value to people, it will keep you inspired. That's the surest way of maintaining motivation. If you're growing fruits, and these fruits make a difference to a sick person, to a family somewhere, then it will keep you inspired to run your business. Okay. The second part of my presentation today is clarity on financial goals. And the question I want to ask you right now, why should you set financial goals? Please talk to me. Why is it important for you to set financial goals? Tell me 3 reasons why it's important. Why? Why should you ever think about that? Let me say this. Without goals, your journey to financial security is likely to meander. Without financial goals, you know what? Your journey to financial independence will become elusive. That's true. If you can clarify your goals, you're likely to hit them. You're likely to achieve them. You know, I want us to draw some 3 major lessons about financial goals from this book, The Psychology of Money. Morgan Housel has written a very powerful book. I am not holding brief for him. He didn't ask me to market his book, but I encourage you to get this book. It's powerful. It's a game changer. When I read this book, the first thing I did, I bought my daughter her own copy because the lessons are life-changing. And I actually did a book review on this book. If you just check it in this YouTube channel, The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel, I did a book review and of all the 20 chapters. It's a very powerful thing. Just go listen to that video. It will just cost you some 41 minutes, life-changing minutes to hear the summary of this book. And you can listen in your car radio as you go to work, as you go back home from work, as you drive somewhere for a vacation. Yeah, just listen to it. And I want to give you some 3 lessons out of this powerful book. Number 1, investments grow over time. Number 2, long-term mindset in our financial goals. And number 3, define enough for you. Now, of course, Morgan Housel has given many lessons in this book. I just want to pull out those 3 for now. So number 1, investments grow over time. So what do you do about that? Invest early. What is early? As soon as you hear this message, start investing. Morgan Housel tells us how Warren Buffett started investing when he was 11 years of age. And I can verify that because I have personally heard Warren Buffett saying that in a seminar. I have heard him explaining how he began investing when he was 11. So investments grow over time. So start as soon as possible. It's never too late. Number 2, long-term mindset in our financial goals. So what do we do about that? Focus on what counts. Don't waste your money on what is not durable. There's an old woman in you who is depending on your sanity today. Gentlemen, there's an old man in you who is counting on the choices you make right now. So focus on what counts. Don't spend your money on that which does not last. And number 3, define enough for you because money is never enough. The richest people are still working. Define what is enough for you. Staying wealthy needs humility. Don't buy stuff because your neighbors bought, your peers at work, or you want to impress your former high school mate or college mate or neighbors. You're not in competition with anyone. Your financial goals means exactly that. They're yours. They're your financial goals. You are aging alone. So be humble. Buy what you must, what you need, what is important for you, not to show off, not to prove a point. Let me ask you, please, what are your top 3 financial goals? Tell me, just tell me. You can write them as a comment in this YouTube channel. What are your top 3 financial goals? Just share with me. Here's my suggestion. Get a journal. Write down your financial goals. What are your financial goals? Because we all run up and about every day looking for money. If somebody asks you, what are you looking for? Don't just say you're looking for money. What exactly are you looking for? Let me just highlight 7 of the financial goals people have. Number 1, managing expenses. Number 2, paying off debts. 3, saving for retirement. 4, building an emergency fund. 5, building investments. 6, improving credit score. And 7, giving to charity or giving for charity. I don't know whether one of these financial goals are also your financial goals. Maybe they are. In case one of these 7 is your financial goal, let me suggest some ways you can do to achieve these 7 financial goals. What can we do to achieve these financial goals? Number 1, to manage your expenses. Let me suggest today, make a budget. Don't just get in the supermarket and start buying stuff. Make a budget. Budget everything you buy. Avoid impromptu buying. Don't get in the store or in the supermarket or hypermarket to find out what to buy. Get in there with a list of what you want to buy. Number 2, what do we do to pay off our debts? There is a time I was debt laden. Together with my wife, we sat down and said, this must come to an end. So we listed down everybody we owed money. We had a lot of debts. We owed people a lot of money. We listed them down, starting the smallest debt. We listed down all our debts and we started clearing one by one. Then we would go back to the book where we wrote and we would cancel in red. We wrote them in using a blue pen. We'd cancel in red, paid off, cancel in red. And for over 10 years, I can tell you this, I don't owe anybody, alive or dead, any coin. I don't owe anyone any coin. It feels good to be debt-free. I'm not talking about business facilities. I'm talking about personal debt. I'm working free. It feels good to be debt-free. Number 3, to save for retirement, work with a retirement plan. People who are working for government or for corporates, this is taken care of. But if you are on your own, as a private practitioner, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, businesswoman, or self-employed person, then work with a retirement plan. It's much easier than trying just to save on your own. Same thing with an emergency fund. Work with an emergency plan. Insurance companies, for example, have plenty of them, or mutual funds. Even banks have them. They have emergency plans, and it's easier to work with that because sometimes emergencies come along our way. To build your investment, I like the approach by Morgan Housel. Diversify your investments. Invest both in the money markets and in real estate. Personally, I invest every month in the New York Stock Exchange, and I invest long term. But I'm also investing in real estate. I collect rents. And I'm suggesting to you, try these 2 methods. They don't do either. There are people who believe in real estate and they don't do anything else. I've seen the housing market collapse. There are people who just believe in the money market. I have seen the money market collapse. So I suggest diversify, doing both markets, not in either. To improve your credit score, there are many things, but the primary method, monitor your payment history. Always pay on time. Check the dates for any credit you have, any credit card you have, and pay always on time. Monitor your payment history because you never know when you may need to borrow some money, because you'd rather borrow from an institution, a financial institution, rather than from an individual. And number 7, give to charity. Now, this is huge. This is my conviction. Give at least 10% of your income after tax. Give at least 10%. Now, let me get personal here. This is my financial formula. This is personal. You don't have to follow this. You don't have to follow this. This is my personal financial formula, just in case it's going to help you. So I give to church 10%, to charity 10%, passive income 10%, active income 10%, expenses 60%. And as a rule, I have 2 rules. I give before I spend. So the expenses 60% comes last. So I first give before I spend. And I have a house cap, a house ceiling, a house limit. I cannot spend more than 25% on the house I live, whether it's mortgage or rent. There is a time I was renting a house, and there is a time I was paying a mortgage. But I will never pay rent or pay mortgage more than 25% as a rule. If you're paying your house more than 25%, you're living beyond your means. So 60% is all my expenses: house, electricity, water bills, garbage collection, mowing my yard, cleaning my house, buying food, gas for my car, all costs, 60%. But the first thing I do, I give to church 10%. Some people ask me, why do you give to church 10%? You should only give generously. We are not under the law. We are free people under grace. Why are you giving 10%? That's a good question. Let me tell you why I give 10%. Can I ask you a question? Suppose the government says, pay tax generously, pay as much as you want. Would the government ever operate? That government would collapse. There is no government on this planet that will tell the people, give tax generously, give as you desire. Or you get in a supermarket, hypermarket, and the owner of the hypermarket tells you, pick whatever you pick and give generously, give as you wish. You go to a gas station, you fuel your car, and the gas station owner tells you, just give what you feel like, give what you want. Get into a furniture shop, and they tell you, just pay what you feel like. You go to a restaurant to eat, and the owner of the restaurant tells you, just give generously. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why do we argue about church? Everywhere else, we pay a particular amount. When it comes to church, we raise unnecessary debates. So I'm saying this, budget your charity, budget your giving. So, of course, you may tell me we should not talk about our giving. The Bible says, what your right hand gives, your left hand should not give. Yes, that's true. But the Bible does allow teachers to give their personal experiences and testimonies for teaching purposes. Jesus one day watched the people as they gave. He watched them giving. He watched them. And he said the woman who gave 2 cents gave the most. Why did Jesus do that? He wanted to teach about giving. Why is it that when Jesus gave, it was recorded? We are told he fed 5,000 people, plus their wives and children. His giving was recorded in scriptures. It's not because he was trying to show off. It was for our learning purposes. So as a teacher, as a trainer, when I share about my giving, it's not to brag. It is not to show off. It is for the purposes of inspiring you to give. It's for the purposes of encouraging you and even challenging you. So over and above the 10% that I give to church, I give 10% to charity. Now, we have some children. My wife and I pay their school fees. Now, I don't even know these kids. I have never met them. We don't give them money to their parents. We pay directly to the schools. Now, there are so many people who listen to this and they tell me, oh, my child is needy, blah, 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 and I can't help them. I can't help the whole world, but I can help 5 children. You see, Mother Teresa said, if you can feed 1,000 people, feed at least a soul. So God has not commanded us to do what we can't. God doesn't ask us to give beyond our means. God doesn't ask us to give what he has not given us. God does not demand of us to give what we don't have. So the idea here is not to help the world or to be overwhelmed with all the needs in the world. The idea is to do what you can with what you have been given. The idea here is to give from what you have already been given. Now, passive income for me means the money that is not active, the money that I have given to stocks for my rentals. Active income is the money I invest in active business. The businesses we are doing, 10% I use for expanding it. Now, let me say this. I have not always been faithful in giving 10% to my businesses. Sometimes I have found myself infringing my expenses into my active income. But I do the best I can to protect my passive income and my charity. I do my very best. Church, it's not negotiable. I can't even imagine eating the 10% tithe. That one I give before thing. I can't. I just can't. That one is a non-negotiable for me. Let me tell you some of the things God has done for me. Let me just tell you one thing. Just one thing. As I speak to you right now, as I speak to you, June of 2024, my son Zig is in Harvard. He was the only kid selected by Harvard from the entire county where we live. The whole county. He was the only student who was picked by Harvard. Full scholarship. They paid his air ticket. They are paying for his food, his accommodation, his tuition, and they even gave him pocket money. There was not a single coin that came from my pocket or from the mother's pockets. Now, he's still a high schooler. He's a junior. He's going to senior. Junior is, in some countries, is what you call Form 3 or that year. So he has 1 more year to go. He's a junior. He's going to senior. He has 1 more year to go to clear his high school. So Harvard sometimes picks students between their junior and senior years to go and do some university classes, some college classes. Harvard does that to check the kids they want to admit in Harvard. So our child was picked by Harvard as one of the kids they want to admit in the university. Full scholarship, mark this, full scholarship. What is even more interesting, we did not apply for this scholarship, believe it or not. I'm telling you the integrity, God is my witness, we did not apply for this scholarship. The school counselor just forwarded his name as a potential candidate. They have a criteria. They pick students who are performing well and who are disciplined, who have good character, and who are active in sports. And there are many kids like that in his school and many other schools in our county. But he was the only child who was picked. I'm telling you, when you give, you get so much from God. You cannot outgive God. There is so much divine favor on me. There is a business we run in Kenya. I live in the United States. This business has over 100 employees, the top pro salons, plus the college. We are in Kenya. A lot of Kenyans open their salon shops and the employees steal and they close down the shop. We are here with many branches, executive salons in the upmarket. We have not been in Kenya for many years, and they are still there, growing, thriving, making profit, to the extent now we had to open a beauty college. We have real estate in Kenya. We are not there, and we have never lost money. When you give, God protects what you have. When you give, God blesses what you have. Give us gain. Give us prosper. I'm telling you right now. Now, there's a mistake a lot of people make. There are so many people who give so that they can receive. No doubt, when you give, you receive. The greatest teacher of all times, Jesus Christ, he said, quote, give, and it shall come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's a fact that Jesus said. It's a fact. But you know what? We don't give so that we receive from God. God doesn't owe us anything. We don't give to receive. We give because we have been given. We give because we have already received. We don't give to receive. We give because we have already received. We give because we have been given. So you know what? There are so many people who didn't have the privilege I had to go to school. There are many other people whose parents died early to HIV/AIDS, to cancer, to heart attack. My parents are still alive. My mother was a school teacher. My dad is a professor of a university. My wife's dad was a school principal. He's still alive. And his mother, a nurse. They were doing well, working class parents. My parents, working class parents. Her parents, working class parents. You know what? Not many kids were as privileged as I was. I went to the university and I got a first degree in math and physics, a second degree, in project management. I got a PhD in project management. I'm also PMP certified, project management professional. I'm also a professional Scrum Master 3. You know what? Those are high qualifications. And this is God's grace, I'm also a minister of the gospel. I'm an international speaker. I have traveled in all continents speaking. And I can tell you, God has opened for me so many doors. But one secret of receiving, one secret of your business to be blessed and your finances to be blessed, one profound mystery of prosperity is giving. I know it. In fact, the Bible says that. Proverbs 11:25, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Give us gain. Generous people prosper. Can you believe this? Rabbi Daniel Lapin, this is not a Christian. The principles I'm telling you are universal. This is not a Christian, the author of this book. Daniel Lapin tried to answer the question, why so many Jews are billionaires? If you pick the world's top 50 billionaires, the Jews dominate the list. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. Larry Ellison, he's a Jew. Larry Ellison of Oracle, the Oracle founder, that's a Jew. Sergey Brin, the Google co-founder, Jewish. Larry Page, Google co-founder, he's a Jew. Stephen Ballmer, the Microsoft CEO, he's a Jew. You know, Bill Gates is a chair, but the CEO is Stephen Ballmer. He's a Jew. Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Computers, is a Jew. Michael Bloomberg, the founder of Bloomberg LP, the former mayor of New York City, is a Jew. Sheldon Adelson, a casino magnate, is a Jew. My goodness, I have a list of the 50 richest men in this planet, and that list is dominated by Jews. So Rabbi Daniel Lapin, he decided to write a book to explain why Jews are billionaires, why Jews succeed, why Jews prosper wherever they go. Do you know why Adolf Hitler was killing Jews? It's because of jealous, because the Jews are so successful. Now, this book has 10 commandments. Thou shalt prosper. The tagline, 10 commandments for making money. So let me read for you commandment number 9. Commandment number 9, act rich. Give away 10% of your after-tax income. Give away 10% of your after-tax income. This is a rabbi saying that. This is not a Christian. He's a Jew saying, when you give, you prosper. You know what? I once talked to the billionaire in Dubai way back in 2005, and I asked him the secret of his wealth. He told me giving. Now, if you look at the Arab countries of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Oman, these particular countries have the highest wealth per capita in the world. These guys are super rich. Guess what? Giving is the secret. You find one single Muslim building a mosque all alone, single-handedly. You know what? One reason why Africans live in poverty. Africans are always receiving, always receiving, always receiving. When shall Africa start giving? 26th of January, the year 2020, I was invited to speak to 70 CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies, the Fortune 500 companies, 70 of the CEOs. It was a great privilege for me to speak to them in Phoenix, Arizona. They invited me to speak about giving, This was not a Christian meeting. They were trying to fundraise for a cancer project, and they picked me up to be the guest speaker. And I was interacting with these guys. And I'm telling you right now, you'll be surprised with how much Americans give. America is the greatest nation to this day. Total GDP, it is by far the richest, the wealthiest nation. Guess what? Americans give. When you see the Red Cross, World Food Program, World Concern Worldwide, and many other organizations from the US, they are funded by individuals, not the government. They are funded by ordinary Americans. They have a giving culture. They are generous. Americans are givers. And I'm challenging you right now. Give as part of your business. Give. Don't mistake me. I'm not asking you to give to our church. Don't. No. I'm not asking you to send me a coin. I don't expect a coin from you. You know, there are so many prosperity preachers who talk to you about giving because they are looking for money from you. They are not doing it from a genuine perspective. They are trying to milk your money. Hey, don't put me in that category. That would be an insult to me. I don't need your money. And I say with respect, I say with humility. I'm not trying to brag. God has blessed me. I'm a giver. I'm not trying to brag. I support many ministries. I'm saying this to encourage you to give. Give in your local church. Give where you worship. And give to the needy around you. Give to the orphans. Give to the widow. Give. You cannot outgive God. That's my challenge for you. You will never prosper until you learn the secret of giving. If I have blessed you, if this video makes sense to you, if you believe your family, friends, and loved ones will benefit from this video, please like it. Give me a comment. Ask me a question in this video. I'll answer you. More importantly, share this video with your friends, family, and loved ones, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you get notified when I upload new videos. I want to believe this video has blessed you, and you're blessed to bless. You know what? Great people become, light to others. Oh, my goodness. Great people are not just sources of light, but they also become light